Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone has joined. Dilip sir, please open your camera so that we can start the session.
Hello, Arshita.
Hello, sir. Let me start the session.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to welcome you all. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, okay. It is my privilege to welcome you all to today's session of UNNAT KRISHI 2026 training program. As we continue our journey of exploring innovation, technology, and agriculture, we are honored to have with us a distinguished leader whose work is transforming industries through the power of data and advanced technologies. It's given me a pleasure to introduce Mr. Dilip Punglia sir, a renowned author, investor, entrepreneur, and technological leader. He is a co-founder, vice president, and chief business officer at Zerodium Group, a global pioneer in fourth industrial revolution technologies such as AI, Web 3.0, blockchain, and metaverse. With his vast experience across AI, commercial banking, oil and gas, government sectors, and technological strategies, Mr. Dilip Sir has continuously contributed to innovation and digital transformation, actively strengthening agriculture by providing end-to-end AI solutions, empowering farmers with guidance, advanced tools, technologies, marketing, intelligence. We are truly honored to have him with us today to share his valuable insights and vision. Sir, I kindly request you to begin with the session now.
Thank you, Arshita.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much,
lot.
sir.
I hope everyone is comfortable in English and Hindi combination or want in English or in Hindi, whichever way you want it.
Yes, sir.
I'll try
Everyone
to.
is comfortable in bilingual.
Okay, fine. All right. Namaste, everyone. So, though I'm currently in Mumbai, but I'm generally based in London. And thanks, Arshita and team, for inviting me to interact with you all. Uh, the topic is very dear to everyone in the world. Means they can't go away with without agriculture in the life. So I want to begin with this one analogy that how means people the way technology works in agriculture and how it is coming into the world and what is the impact means people think from the execution point of view. The current technological approach, whether it's agriculture, AI, or agri-tech we talk about, or robotics or anything, they come from the perspective or innovation does happen uh, in the large Western worlds, where each farmer has the large chunk of the land and they don't have much resources. And from that point of view, they start.
Sorry to
Uh,
interrupt you, but I think your presentation is not sharing.
I will start.
Okay, okay.
So no, I have not yet started. I'm just talking about it.
Okay,
Then I
sir.
will just say. So the process, think West has to change. We have to think India or Southeast Asia, South Asia, that how should we approach to the agriculture? And that is the core theme which I am keeping in my today's presentation, which I want to start and talk about it, just for everyone to understand what it means actually. Just give me a second. I hope you all can see the presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to start here. So this is how means we started approaching agriculture. I'm not coming from the background of agriculture. मेरा background है business and technology and finance. मैंने यहाँ पे बॉम्बे में काफ़ी साल काम करने के बाद लंदन में काम किया है and started developing one interest the technology has to be done from the domain perspective. जैसे एग्रीकल्चर के पर्सपेक्टिव से टेक्नोलॉजी होनी चाहिए, न कि टेक्नोलॉजी की पर्सपेक्टिव से एग्रीकल्चर डिजाइन होना चाहिए. So you have to start thinking from that perspective. And for that purpose, since last almost a year, I read many books around agriculture practices in India. Luckily, I mean, बोलते हैं कि अपने किसान जो है वो educated नहीं है, but they are one of the best educated people. They know about their land very much, and they are the best scientists in the agriculture domain. So from that perspective, if we start approaching, then we can probably bring technology in such optimal way, which will be useful to them and can solve their matters. And that is the idea which I'm keeping in the picture, and I start talking about it. But just going about some facts and figure, means I was reading one report, and I came across this report that what is the GDP contribution of agriculture is making into the world. So this is where you can see dark green, where GDP contribution of those countries in agriculture is about 50%. So there are countries where there is no like this area which is Iceland and Greenland area, which doesn't contribute much in terms of agriculture. But then there are places like India, or if you consider whole Asia in general, or Africa, they are heavily relying on the agriculture industry. So we are one of those where we are fortunate that we drive agriculture, and India is the second largest agriculture producer of the world. That we produce that much agriculture reliability is there on our part, but our practices and method during these periods have got some malpractices which needs to be improved. And with the technology, we have to bring the knowledge back, the Vedic knowledge back from our era, which used to be practiced before our independence. So this is the overall picture which I want to talk about, is that यहाँ पे 140 million farmers and families associated है. And these the workforce which is employed directly as agriculture workers, but still they are earning less than 10,000 a month, which is the irony in the world. लेकिन क्यों वो hard work नहीं करते? They do hard work, but where is the problem? So one more thing, अगर आप लोगों को कुछ questions हो या कुछ discussion करना हो, please start popping up your hand or unmute and start speaking. As I am sharing screen, I may not able to see your hand, so that will be good. Okay, we can keep interactive sessions. We can talk bit in a way which can be a solvable problem. But अगर आपको पता होगा कि वर्ल्ड की जो सबसे बड़ी इंडस्ट्री एक जमाने में हुआ करती थी, one is construction, another is agriculture. Over the period of time, those industry were made like a demonizing, जो राक्षसीकरण बोलते हैं ना जिसका, यार ये तो अनपढ़ लोगों की इंडस्ट्री है. This is how the actual science behind those practices is gone away from the system. Now what people learn कि अरे यार ज्यादा केमिकल डालो, ज्यादा ग्रो करो, वहां पे ओनियन अच्छा हो रहा है, मैं भी ओनियन उगाऊंगा, बिना थॉट प्रोसेस के. And that is the biggest problem. So we need to solve two things. One is, yes, we need to empower our agriculture workers, which is farmer and families, with the tools and technologies. But at the same time, we have to form a technology in such a way that empower them in terms of informations. The information is the key in order to do the innovation, in order to do the correct decisions. That is where we have a big broken links in our farming practices, specifically in India. After looking into US and global market, I realized how does India should approach to the solving the agriculture problem, what we have. If you ask me, in reality, after reading and going into the various farms, those who are the benchmark or a good examples in the world, in India, that how one should practice and their earning power, then I realized, no, everyone can achieve it. It's just a matter of information gap, which we have it. There's another problem, which we have is a market gap. So, for example, somewhere near Nashik, someone is growing onion. Because onion is grown in heavy at Nashik area, the prices in the Nashik area, you won't get it good. And you don't know what should be the price. So that is the biggest gap which we have it right now in the world of informations where we are in 21st century. Or now it is generation Z we are talking about it. And then third part is the trust gap. When farmers are selling into the market, the biggest problem is trust from where these products came, whether they have put too much of chemicals, are these rodents, or those informations where people, when consumer buy, they have a lack of a trust, and that is the reason there are sometimes it causes a uh, drift in terms of prices as well, right? So going to the now more driving into the more technological 360-degree look, how we should approach to the problem. For that, what I have done is, in last 6 months while reading it, I visited around 20-25 farms in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra, various regions of Maharashtra. And then I met few scientists. I met FPO people, some agronomists, and I realized that there is a great knowledge which is there, but the knowledge is disconnected from each other. People they are scientists who are working in agriculture university, the PhD holders, they discover something, but that knowledge is not even going 5 miles away from their campus. So that is the gap, biggest gap what we have it. And I thought, how can I work on this top domain, which is a 360-degree simple solutions to the agriculture approach, how we can go ahead. And yes, my approach is more technological oriented, but uh, but my implementation is more from domain perspective I'm talking about here. So the way I want to propose is that we need to, even government has data nowadays. I can get those informations from government that for traceability purpose, I need which farmer or which farming land I'm talking about. That is one of the important part of my agriculture solution, technological part by what I am talking about. Second is like there's another part. So in India, the access on the technology is expensive because on an average, India farmers own 0.8 hectare land, which is very minimal. Whereas in the world, people owns 1,500 or plus hectare lands. For them, having technology is much cheaper because they have a large land parcel. But in India, when we don't have large land parcel, then how should we approach it with the devices and all? So why don't I involve my families, farming families, young generation, the generation Z, and I empower with them to them with the advanced technical practices using the devices like drones or sensors or anything, and then empowering with the technology and knowledge base, saying that how one should practice it. So that is the idea why we are bringing this whole concept of IoT devices or farmers' IDs and link young generations with the farmers who are working on the ground and the knowledge which is sitting into the university or in the government and government's subsidies or benefits, which we want to bring into the one place. And then, so that is part of a community building work where I want to bring a lot of uh, cooperative networks, FPOs sitting into various places in the India or across globe. There are, I can give you another example which I can quote, is Indonesia is seeking a milk, which is they want to use, they want to import milk from India. And their idea to import milk from India is because they want to import the expertise to build a organized dairy sector in Indonesia going forward. By the way, India is the second largest or first largest milk producing country in the world. We produce that amount of a milk. and our milk is good if it is malified or anything had happened to the milk because of the input to the cow or whatever cow or cattle, anyone who have eaten something which is more pesticides or chemical based food, then they are producing that kind of a milk. Otherwise, our milk practices are very pure, very good. And these milk, which can be, it becomes such a good practices of organized sector, organized industry in terms of dairy format. You take in Maharashtra, Chitle Brothers or Amul, or you take various dairy in Mumbai nearby. There is a Mananda, Sars Dairy. The plenty of dairies available in the India. They have community-focused approach to build a milk. So that milk is required in Indonesia. And so if we practice that kind of a cooperative networks properly, we can organize agriculture sector on each crop, mango or paddy or anything we pick it up. We can have a proper institutions around it in order to have a organized sector and export globally, because we have that much power to produce extra in terms of agriculture, and we can provide at a consumable rate to the farm, our consumer, or fork to plate. In plate, it reaches to the affordable prices. The idea of marketplace is the place where we will subscribe all kind of a government subsidies available in the information phase at the initial range, and then we are approaching to the various government that if they want, we can integrate their portals. That will be brilliant. We are trying to reach out to various agri places, the marketplaces like FPOs, or the people who are buying in mass agriculture products like these supermarkets or everyone. So we are trying to reach them. And then there is another thing which I am working with various university is creating a Agri LLM model, which is basically a knowledge-based AI model, which everyone will have access on it. It's not generative; it is a more informations which is practiced by our scientists, our farmers, our agronomists, or our consumers, which we will put into this place. And there is no hallucinations. The informations will be derived out of our knowledge base for you to practice. There are methodology. Means there was I met someone. He was saying कि बस organic practices के अंदर input cost बहुत ज़्यादा है. But that is not truth. If you have a 25-acre land, you can produce whole organic required input for the land or to the agriculture produce. You can get it in your this land itself by keeping 2 cows, having जो क्या बोलते हैं buttermilk, milk, all these things is required, and then putting some kind of a trees like neem, जो standard है India के अंदर, in large section of India has a neem tree, and there are different various types of leaves are there. That is a knowledge base. So based on knowledge base, based on your area, you can then decide that what you need to grow, how you need to plan your farm, and how you need to cultivate, and what is your market intelligence. How I will reach to the market is key part of it. So that is the whole point which we are building right now. And then yes, definitely we are talking about all kind of a different sensors and everything in order to get the correct data, localized data, and general information models which can empower farmers to take the corrective decisions. That is the idea how we want to use our technology properly. And so this is what means anyone, means not me, anyone can approach to the technology, that how they can build these informations as an end-to-end model for to help farmers, make them digitally empowered. And don't make technology that farmer has to learn the technology and work. I want to make technology in such a way that technology work as per the farmer's requirement. They don't have to learn technology. Technology is made flexible in such a way that they just talk to the technology in simple way, right? And so I'm just putting these few images that how one can get the data and informations in order to do that. And these are my core products informations, how we do it right now. So coming to the means, अभी तक किसी को कोई इस कोई भी पॉइंट पे डिस्कस करना हो तो देन प्लीज रेज योर हैंड और जस्ट turn yourself unmute and we can talk, because those are the key important topic, that how we can approach technology from India perspective and from the farmer's perspective. Just a pause for anyone to speak up.
So we will have the session after the session when we will finish.
Okay, no problem. So the second part which I want to talk, sorry, rather third part, is more about IoT devices. So how should we approach for IoT devices like drones, weather stations, or any sensors or any robotics arms which can help or empower farmers? So there are two divides of the farmers in India. One is about 85% of the farmers which owns less than 1 hectare of land or 1 acre of land, and the farmers who owns more than that. They need the 15% need exclusive technologies, but when it comes to 80%, which is the key segment in the agriculture, then how we will approach is very simple approach. We want to do it. We will pick their kids, we'll train them, and we'll tell them, okay, work in particular this area of 10 kilometers and provide these technological solutions to the individual farmers on a nominal or economical cost. But still, they can then empower them with the information. At the end of the day, what they need is actual information on their ground or what their soil condition is. What should they grow? What is the conditions which is changing? Means they have to do the operational maintenance of the farmers while the produce is growing. During that period, ensuring that pesticides is detected, the whole chemical or organic chemicals being spread out, and water, whether it's done correctly or not. So these informations can be provided at nominal cost to the farmers, and then farmers get their data in with their AI agents, and they talk to them, and they said what to do and what not to do. And this is, I'm talking about proactive approach, not reactive approach. Even there are some point in time, like our body shows some symptoms. Similarly, these agriculture crops, they show some symptoms, which is pre-symptoms. There is no disease, but those that they will about to get those disease. And those preventive measures is easier to solve. And that's what these data informations can help them to do this particular part. And this is the actual means operating systems of agriculture as a solution, or a AI as a operating system to the human being, to the farmers, is key. And that's where we are bringing whole ecosystems. That what does it mean actually? That whole ecosystem is that this is my knowledge base and or LLM model. I'm talking about this is my IoT networks. This is my informations coming out of satellite. This is my skill developed resources. And then I have a connection with the government. The information, what I capture is recorded into the blockchain. The market intelligence informations while I'm connecting and sensing data, what is available into the open web platform, plus connected FPOs or all those things. And then insurance provider. And also I want to nurture in futuristic industry who want to develop further on top of this available platforms of the data, right? And when I'm talking about blockchain, I'm talking about two things here. One, the informations. So, when we are putting input into the ground, we know what kind of a sowing we did it, particular seed plantations. We know what kind of a conditions overall in terms of weather conditions, in terms of the chemicals being used, organic or bioorganic or chemical being used. And then what was the growing period, kind of a pest being detected. And then when produce is done, I can get the nutrient informations as well. And these informations, because it's now sitting into a single system, the system is recording who is this farmer is. So that was the idea why I was suggesting that I create a unique identity of farmer, or I get a unique identity of farmer from the government system. I know the geospatial location from where these being grown. Then I know the kind of a input got into the ground. And then there are one more leg which can be done with the image processing. The quality of produce is being done when you run the image sensing on the produce. You can then sense whether these grain seeds are broken or full or anything else is there. The quality certified can be done onto the grain. And when I, as a consumer, get this product into my hand, then I can just simply scan the code. I can get the end-to-end lineage and information of nutrient, which is being calculated. It's a mathematical formula the moment you have all the input informations. And that nutrient informations will build your trust in terms of when you are eating it. You know, these informations come from a reliable source, this produce coming from reliable sources, what is being used, and I am now eating with the informed informations, with the informed product that yes, it is there. So that is the idea why the gap of the trust part, how we can build the trust part. We can build informations gap by putting all the FPOs and this, and we can educate kin of farmers so they can talk to the people in their local languages to understand, to make them understand how you should nurture the mother nature, basically. How should you cultivate the agriculture practices which can minimize the environmental impacts, which can minimize the weather impacts, and which can give the capability, empower them to do the further research that they can build seeds which can sustain into various kind of conditions. I met few people recently in AI for Agri event here in Mumbai. And there was one young boy, he was working since last 5 years on a seed which can sustain in the extreme heat weather and extreme rainy seasons. So these kind of innovations comes when you have a problem statement, you face those issues, you have informations available to you, and then you start practicing it, that what you can tweak or do modifications which retain the nutrient value, which retain the all holistic approach,
सकते हैं। तो
but
आपको
then
क्या
it
करना
brings
है,
the resilience into the
तो हार्डवुड
seeds.
कटिंग
So these kind of
में होनी चाहिए। और क्यों होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि
promotions
वहीं
which
से
we
तो
want
ग्रो
to do
होगा,
part of our
इसलिए
community building program
जाओगे
as
तो
well.
पार्शियली मैच्योर्ड हो जाओगे।
Here I'm just
वही है
explaining that
है ना,
what is
उसका
the
कटिंग
actual
लगाने के लिए
end-to-end
थोड़ा सा
ecosystem I'm trying to connect,
मतलब
which
क्या
is disconnected at
कि
this
इस
point in time in India right now. And this means government works in their own way. They make policies, they make subsidies. There are few farmers, those who get access on subsidies. Not everyone are lucky to get it. So it
चलो सभी को
doesn't
गुड
be,
इवनिंग।
it's not delivered
हमने
at last mile as well.
हाँ ठीक है,
But then there are
जो
knowledge base,
सिर्फ
the
होना वो
scientists
बहुत ही
whom I
ज्यादा
met,
एज
they
कम्पेयर
are
टू
doing
अदर,
brilliant work.
इसलिए हम लोग
But how could I validate
रहता है।
if it is not being
ठीक है,
practices
यही आपको
on
हिंदी
ground?
में अब
So if I can make this knowledge
चलो
base available to the farmers and mother plants or a mother seeds to the farmers, farmer will be having better and healthy produce, and which we will be eating as well, part of the process. So I'm just trying to connect this whole ecosystems in order to bring healthy India in future. Right? So, and this is the way one can approach to the marketplace. So basically idea which we being putting in, we are trying to connect with everyone, including the platform like yours, where we want to bring that how we can bring a single ecosystems where everyone become partner. अगर आपने सुना होगा कि एक और एक दो होते हैं, बट अगर हाथ ज्वाइन कर लें तो एक और एक 11 भी हो सकते हैं. तो आइडिया यही है कि हाउ वी कैन ब्रिंग पीपल हु आर वर्किंग इन वेरियस डोमेन एट सिंगल प्लेस, सो दे अर्न हैप्पीली with ethical practices, and they are paying fair money to the farmers and their family or people who are working in those areas, so that the skill of earning 10,000 rupees a year can be made up to 1 lakh or 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs. The sky is limit the way we want to do it. The idea is, right? And there's one more thing. When we do the correct practices like natural farming or organic farming, it's a very simple thing. How you can keep your ground moist when you are when you are doing the watering to your plant by doing simple mulching. So basically, the produce which you have done and you harvested it, the remain of it, the waste of it, or which we burn, rather than burning everything, you keep it, cut it, and put onto the ground, which become a fertilizer to the ground as well. At the same time, they retain the water as well into the ground. So that simple mulching is basically a concept which is used in organic farming as well as into the natural farming. Natural farming is like forest farming. जैसे forest grow होता है naturally, इसी तरीके का है। तो उसमें ग्रो किस तरह से होता है, इसका रैशनल ये है क्योंकि वहां पे जो वाटर होता है, रिसोर्सेज, वो कभी भी सन के साथ बर्न नहीं होता है. And it is because the leaves lying onto the ground and these leaves become a food, and then natural insects or like earthworm and everyone is getting natural food there. So they produce as a organic input to the those trees and everyone, and those trees which is there in forest has best nutrient values. And when we are doing these practices, I know that time I am helping nature to produce less carbon, and I'm helping nature to sustain during the extreme weather situations. And if your practices are really good, which we are recording using sensors and inputs, then those can be generated into the form of carbon credits. And you know the carbon credit is a financial instrument which is being openly traded into the world market, not here, because this is being used by the industry which produces the pollutions. So they pay fair amount of it, and collectively using our app, what we are planning to do is we will monitor your input and we'll give you a credit towards a carbon. And once you have enough credit, we will generate a certificate, which not now, but in future, in India, it will become a legal instrument to be sold into the market. Right. And the one which I was talking, traceability of your produce, in order to remove the trust gap between what we are growing and people what we are eating. If I don't know what I'm eating, then there's a problem. So if I know who produced it, what is the input gone into the agriculture produce, and quality of produce, and kind of a nutrient value it does as it, then it will make your product standing out into the market right now. And this is what we are trying to get those information on the ground to the customer. This is our ecosystem technically, which we are putting together. And this is what we are working with various. So I'm working right now with these various scientists here in India, including farmers and agronomists and doctors, scientists. So in future, I want to expand these network a bit more and collaborate with many, many more people. Right. Thank you very much. This is means idea what I have it, which I wanted to talk about, that how one should approach technology from a different angle and a different perspective to solve the India's agriculture problem, and bring three things: the trust, informations, and fair values to the market, to our farmers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this valuable, insightful session. Now, I request participants, if they have any questions, they can unmute themselves and ask to us, sir, or they can write in the chat box too. Dear participants, you may ask the question to the sir.
Yeah, please, whomever raised hand, please ask your questions. Mr. Sharma. Probably you need to unmute yourself to speak up.
So if you're facing any difficulties, you can write in the chat box too. So this question is explain the carbon credits.
Okay, so the carbon credit, the way it works is how much you are helping the nature by putting your all practices into the ground. So, so the way you sow into the market. So let me put this whole screen back in front of you, and I'll explain you easily. So look, this is basically what is your sustainability approach? You did it in order to get the carbon credit. So okay, means this is more like a trading part of it. Sorry. So I will explain you. Don't worry. Means just in a simple plain language. What I have here, the slide speaks more about how it is being traded in the market. But the way it is explained in simple terms, if you are using any organic approach or natural approach to grow your produce, and you are not burning any waste out of those agriculture produce, and you are reutilizing this agriculture waste in terms, converting them into a proper fertilizer or a food for cattle, and you are using cow or cattle's uh, byproducts in order to put into the ground, and the produce is being done with the nutrient orientations, you get the credit based on certain scores. It is done based on your per hectare. There's a mathematical formula behind it, and based on that mathematical formula, which is being standard formula being approved by the financial institutions, is being used to give you a credit. The moment you have a one credit, you get a one certificate. Not necessarily that you can generate one credit in 1 hectare. It depends everything. There are a lot of parameters which is available, which we are decoding part of our recording informations. And the trading happens into the market. If you really want to understand the industries which want a tax benefits, because industry which is heavy carbon producing industry, they get the additional taxations from the government. So if they buy credit from you, they are offsetting basically their carbon production, and then they get the tax. Sorry, not heavy taxes based on those carbon credits. Yeah.
First, Mr. Nanda, please.
Sir, apart from that, also some growing of crops which will absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and that also help in the carbon credit also, sir.
Yes, it does. That's what I'm saying. It is a parameters of what do you use. Even see, when some of your crop, like I'll pick example of this algae. If some of the algae is being planted around your area where you have a water body within your farm, and that algae consume the carbon, that carbon generates the food which is on the algae. We can use information and we can get carbon credit as that as well. So carbon credit, just the environment absorbing capacity is one of the parameters. What you produce as it means how to avoid producing carbon is also a carbon credit for you.
So your voice is lagging.
Is it me? No. Sorry, I'm not talking right now. I just explained. There are two things. What is your plant absorb in terms of not even producing carbon out of your agriculture farming, and at the same time, what you're using is organic practices. Then you get the credit as well for it. Is there
Does anyone else have any question?
Sir, can you tell that AI tool can help the hidden hunger symptom of the plant?
Yes, this there are, see, in silos is being, there are pilots being done. We were writing a white paper on mango tree. That when mango tree, sorry, so when mango tree, when the small sizes of when mango start growing it, is at one point in time during that small sizes you can identify the spongy tissues in the mango based on the skin of the mango, and that skin of mango you can pluck those out because
So your voice is echoing. You can.
yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. Back it.
Voice
Can
is
you
not.
hear me now? Hello. Could you able to hear me? Hello.
Hello, sir. So you can
Could you able,
rejoin the conversation.
could you able to
It's
hear me now? Am I audible? Is not lacking? Or?
yes, sir. Your voice is echoing.
Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
This is better, right? Yeah. So there are patterns in AI. The theory is being written that how the use of color identifies disease into the plants, right? And AI can help those image processing in order to bring identify the disease onto the plant. Still problem.
Yes, sir. Still having a problem in middle. So you can rejoin the session again.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get out and get.
Participants, please wait for a few minutes. I will be rejoining soon. I request again to dear participants, whosoever have their questions, please wait for a few seconds. I will join the meet again. Participants, please be there. We will be getting connected soon. Sir is having a problem